Sawadee my name is Kanchaporn Kieatkhajornrit. I am second year student from India, and today I'm going to review the classical music as my assignment for the introduction to classical music Janet course. First of all, I would like to talk a little bit about my background with classical music and the reason that I decided to attend this class. So when I was a kid, I really into doing activities. Apart from sport, I also interested in the music, and since I was 4, I played piano as my first musical instrument, and I learned to read the notes. So from that, many musical instruments follow, like melody and recorder, and even Thai instrument like Kim. However, my favorite one was violin, and that one leads me to my best experience of my life as a role of musician. So I was in the school orchestra for about 5 years, and it was my really great opportunity that I chose to be the concert master. And from playing music as the hobby, now it become more serious. I have to also take care of other members in the orchestra, and I have to also really push myself to practice all the time. Music in my perspective was only practical part about practice and play. Learning about theory and history is my new thing. So it was such a long time since my last touch to my violin until this Janet course that bring me back to my childhood again, and learning more deep in those technical term and different period of musical that make me understand more the classical music and also impress more the value of it. So the first concert I want to review today is the live concert in Bangkok called the Elgar's Enigma. Jose Luis Nuevo was the guest conductor. Luis Nuevo is a conductor and the music director from Spain who had loads of experience around the world. He has been working with many famous orchestra like OSA, Miami Orchestra, Ohio Orchestra, Oxford Chamber Orchestra, and etc. For this time, he came to Bangkok as a part of the Thailand Philharmonic Orchestra, along with the pianist Christopher Janwong McKigan. McKigan won many competitions around the world, and for this show, he going to play the piano concerto in F major by George Gershwin. This is not my first time attend to this formal orchestra, but it was the first time that I need to really focus in every detail. So the concert was taken place on the 15th of June at 7 p.m. at Prince Mahidol Hall. It was raining so hard that day, and the traffic was really hard. I almost missed the first part, but I went there on time. So for the ticket, I bought this one, which is the 1,500 baht ticket, and I got a really good seat, which is in the middle of the hall, and I can see the stage clearly. I heard that this place has a really good design. The design support the best aspect of sound, and every seat in the hall received the same kind of quality of the sound. So I went there and sit in my seat with this program leaflet, which I received it from the front door, and inside this one it contained the information of the conductor, musician, and also there's some kind of basic information of that piece, which will help the audience to understand more about the work. And yeah, so it's really helpful, this one, and it's both in Thai and English. So I read this one before I listen to the concert, so I understand the concert more. So the first half of the show was the piano concerto. So there was a big grand piano in the middle of the stage, and everything starts with the concert master pressing the note A on the piano, and they start to tune the string start to tune, and conductor came out, and then he started the show. I was really excited at that moment. I remember the first sound that came out in my ear was the sound of the timpani playing in like the motif short and long, repeating as the beginning of the movement. And one thing I was really enjoy during that concert was I was playing a game with myself, like guessing the instrument. So the game was like I heard the music, like the sound of the music, and I guessed what instrument produced that sound. So it was really fun. So basically I closed my eye and imagine what was is that instrument. To shake the answer, I just look to the stage and see what instrument is playing that. So I also got the new knowledge here. For example, this instrument, so I think I saw it before, but I don't know its name. So it's the oboe, and so I know it because I just look at the back when there's like the name of the oboe and the name of the musician that play, and I searched internet at that time that I really want to know. So this kind of game kept me enjoy the music and different sound that create from them. The first movement was the allegro, as it was really fast and using a lot of timpani and the hard short sound that from the main piano, the main melody. I also took a note while I listened to the concert because I afraid I will forget this detail. So this is the note from my iPhone. So I just noted like from the first movement, what did I hear? So this is like, so I will read like a little bit of the example. So from the first movement, the orchestra start with the timpani repeating in motif, and then the solo start, the piano came with the viola in like a really slow. Then the whole orchestra playing the same rhythm fast and faster. The piano play followed by the orchestra. Like I heard that it's like the piano play this melody and then the whole orchestra repeat the same melody. That so it's like kind of, I think it's like the communication between the solo and the orchestra that support. So it was really good. Like okay, then they play together, they change the rhythm, they're back to the normal main kind of theme, and then the hard sound of the trombone and something like this. And at the end, I can guess that it's coming to the end of the third movement when all the orchestra playing the main theme melody together, and the conductors start to use like their full body, like moving really in kind of big action. So at the end was really good. Like it's kind of really grand for the third movement. The second movement was the adagio, much more about jazz style with mainly using brass and especially trumpet and horn. So for this one, it started with the solo. He took his blazer off, so it's kind of give more kind of feeling of like more relaxed for this kind of music. From the note, the second movement slow and lively, brass and jazz. So it starts with the same feeling of movement 1 by using slow music and introducing more instrument. By this one, apart from the first one start with the really hard sound of the timpani, but this one just start with the sound of horn, create two motifs, the horn and then followed by the flutes, and the pianist take his suit off and kind of like chill and relax. I can see his feeling, his face is actually the emotion that he expressed is kind of different from the first movement. So the first one is really like hard sound and really kind of impact sound, but the second one is more like go with the music. So his face was like smiling all the time, and yeah, then the piano play and then the cello, the double bass control the whole rhythm. The concert master going to the high pitch. So this is when he also playing many scale here for the second one, and at the end of this movement, the whole orchestra playing the main melody several times loudly. Seems like this reached the end of the movement. So I expect that this when they're kind of play really fast and louder, I expect that maybe this will be the end of the movement. However, it's not. Instead, they're using kind of the original. So they after they using a really kind of hard and loud sound, they come back to the origin, which is like the slow and jazz as the ending of the second movement. The last movement, the third movement, it was the allegro agitato, and so for this one, I got the feeling of fun and surprising all the time, and there's a lot of climax between each sentence, and I think all instrument is playing together and at the same time create a complex synchronized in this movement. So from the notes, from the note it start differently from the second part, which is like a slow jazz, but it was come like a really fun kind of rhythm. They portray the fun feeling and challenging all the time. Open with the sound of the piano, fast, exciting, along with the strings. Bring back the timpani and the percussion that missing from the movement 2. So there was a percussion in movement 1 and movement 3. The movement 2 was not really like a fast and percussion. The solo play fast and full speed, and for the end the whole orchestra played together with the hard sound of, and especially the horn, the string, big movement of bow. So they using like so everyone is playing in a kind of big action as well as the conductor. So at the end was really grand and really loud. Overall, for the first half of the concert, I quite enjoyed it. It in both atmosphere and the performance of the musician, even though the second movement was a little bit boring. Like all my friends, we were sitting in the same row, even though like all of my friends was fall asleep already, but it was fine. It was really good. As I mentioned that I used to be in the orchestra, so I understand when the action of the conductor when he kind of organized, like showing his sign to the musician. Even though Novo, the conductor, I only see his back, but I kind of really understand his sign and symbol to the musician. So I think he's really great. And so the relationship and timing was perfectly incredible. I mean, when the musician played together, so I can see this team that they work really hard and they produce a really good piece. So when the piano concerto done, we got 20-minute interval in the middle for the break. So I went out and grabbed some food and then come back and read some kind of information for the second part of the show. The second part of the show is called the Enigma Variation and by Edward Elgar, and this piece happened accidentally. Actually, the original, when he composed this song, it was created as a puzzle to play with his wife Alice Elgar. So it's what the improvising. So he improvising the piano, and kind of play the game with his wife. Like, okay, so he played this melody and let his wife guess like who is this character. So all the 14 character was all of them was his kind of close friend. So at the end, this piece was known and published and become a very famous piece until today. Their second show start. Now they move the piano back off the stage and only the orchestra and the conductor in the middle. They start with the first variation. The first variation is called CAE, stand for Caroline Alice Elgar. So the first variation, the composer composed this for his wife Alice, with using the main melody from violin and between the violin and flute. So this one is quite romantic, which represent his wife, for example. And I will choose another variation. Okay, so the one I remember is the fourth variation called WMB, stand for William Meet Baker. So this one is his friend, which is like the kind of millionaire next to his house, and they wrote in here in Thai, so I'm just gonna read it. So สหายผู้นี้คือเศรษฐีบ้านนอกผู้มีวิถีชีวิตอันรีบร้อนและกิริยาซุ่มซ่ามปิดประตูบ้านดังอย่างไม่ระมัดระวัง So in this variation, they represent his character by using a strong kind of timpani, repeating. So it was really fun. Like it's not just like go to the concert to listen to music, but now I think it's kind of more like puzzle for you to solve and guess the character. This piece is really cool. So they have different character for like 14 different characters for this 14 variation. I love this second half of the show. I actually think I like this one, the second one, the variation, more than the piano concerto, because this one is not just the concert, but it's kind of like the concerts and the story, the combination of fun story and music together. So I really enjoy it. I can see I can see the potential of the music instrument, that is actually the same kind of musician, but they produce kind of different character, different song. The music can represent people, so this is quite a really fantastic point. It was fun. I feel like I was a detective, like try to solve the problem, try to figure out whose character is this, and yeah, I really enjoy it. The different variation with different techniques and representative. The show ended and there was a little ceremony when the flower was giving out to the conductor, the pianist. Yeah, and they're just people, the audience just clapped like really long. And yeah, I got out from that and I met the conductor and the solo just sitting in front of the door and giving out their autograph. And this is my good experience of visiting the concert. I really enjoy both of the piece, both of them, and this actually encouraged me to go back and play the violin. So if I have time, if I have a chance, I think maybe next time I rather go to this show, I mean concert again. I love it. And coming to my second review, so for this one I chose to review the classical ballet called Swalek, and I chose this one as I grown up with Barbie and ballet. So Barbie, the Swalek Barbie was my first movie I watched in my life, and I remember it. I watched it several times, and also ballet was my first activity I attend in my life. I started my ballet since I was 2.5 years, and and from that I continued doing the ballet until I entered to the university. So I have been dance with the Swan Lake for many times. So I performed this show for many times. And moreover, recently this new year I went to the Europe trip and I went to Prague and I was in the Swan Lake ballet show. So I was really enjoying it. It's been already 6 months, but I still remember the feeling of that ballet show. It was in a really small classical theater, and the stage is not that big. I think it's only like one third of the Chulalongkorn auditorium, but it was cozy and it was kind of old and kind of classic theater. Um, I remember the temperature inside was really hot because they turned on the heater. And the show started without any sign, and it begins with only the few characters jumping on the stage. I can say that they were really professional because they dance without thinking, like they dance automatically to the melody and follow the rhythm of the music. The music and the pose go along continuously like one. I cannot move my eyes from the dancer at all. I forgot to mention that the ballet show is there is no speech, no people talking or communication by using their voice, but the ballet show is only the performance related to the sound of the music. So there's no script, no interaction between character. All the emotion expressed from their pose and the support by the background music. Just that. And again, I just watched another version of the Swan Lake, but this time I focus more on the music, not just the performance of the dancer and the storyline. And this one I chose to watch the classical ballet from the company called the Marin Sky Ballet, also known as the Imperial Russian Ballet, from Petersburg, Russia, found in 18th century. This company is one of the world leading in ballet. The ballet was taking place at the of theater in Russia. Conductor was Viktor Fedotov. The Swan Lake Ballet is timeless, and it's the love story that mixed with magic and romance. The story is separated into 2 acts and 4 scenes. The first scene is the park near the Prince Palace. I'm going to mention a little bit about the story and what happened in that scene. So the first scene, the prince arrived at his birthday party at the palace courtyard, and there was all the royal member as well as the townspeople dancing and celebrating. The queen gave the prince the crossbow as a sign to remind him for the future responsibility for the marriage. So the prince need to find his bride, and the first scene ends with the prince run into the forest. First thing I see after the curtain is moving up was the stage setting. In my opinion, it was not really surprised me because I guess because of this show is really old, so there's no fancy kind of prop and kind of really graphical. I mean, like high technology in terms of the stage. Though, so there was no really like lighting and smoke. So there was just the big painting at the back, paint in the atmosphere of the garden and small castle. The costume was minimal and simple, so it's easy to understand which character. So the costume is really represent each character. So I can see clearly that is the prince, that is the queen, and that is like the town people, the normal people, or the royal family. And the color of the tone seems to go together for all the performers. In terms of music, for this show, it started with the string play along with the brass by control by the beat of the timpani, portray the fun and excitement movement of celebrating. So the first part was like the character come out and having fun celebrating their party. So the music was really fun, and like music of celebrating have some surprising. I found here was this movement, the ballet posture and kind of the choreography of the ballet is follow the music, and it's kind of go together. When the music go fast, the ballerina move fast. When it's slow, the ballerina slow. This express their emotion through their move. The second scene of the story was setting by the lake, and the story start when the prince so the prince went into the forest and they meet with the group of the swan, one of them wearing the crown on the head, and actually that swan is not the swan, but it was she's actually the human, but cursed by the evil father. So the swan turned into human and fall in love with the prince. So in that scene, the music start with the theme music of the Swan Lake, and it's begin with the character, the evil father, so the bad guy in the story. So he come out with the black clothes and he dance slowly, follow the rhythm of the music. So this music using the French horn as the main melody, the main theme. And for this character, the evil father, they're using the low pitch to represent him. So in this story of Swan Lake, each instrument represent each character. So for this one, the bad guy, they're using really low to represent kind of the meaning of bad. In this act, second scene was the first time that the main team coming out in this show, and at so in the YouTube clip at the minute of 50.06, that was my favorite pose when it was the combination pose between the prince and the Swan Lake, the swan. So the prince hold the swan up into like we call it the split pose, when the ballerina pointing one one leg up and one leg down like this. So this is like a very famous pose done in the story. And after that, at 70 second, the minute of 50.24, it was the famous move from the ballet of the first one dancing together. So this move is a another very famous movement. So it's like a four swan holding hand and moves at the same kind of pattern and same action. So this one is also really famous, and both of them are the iconic of the Swan Lake. After we have the interval, the break in the middle, now this coming to the act 2 scene 1 called the ballroom in palace. The story continues inside the palace, and mother of the prince, the queen, set the event for the prince to find his love, the bride, by inviting ladies from different places. And at that time, the evil dad, the bad guy of the story, he created the fake swan. So he dressed his daughter as the fake swan. So he think that the prince will think that this is the swan that the prince met at the lake, and he will fall in love, and it works. So the prince fall in love with this fake swan, and they're going to get married together. At this scene, I was really enjoy watching variety of clothes and movement from different ladies, and the music go along with their moves. So this one, in this part, so many kind of different different lady dress different, and every time they come out, they have kind of the specific special song for them, like in Nutcracker when they have their special dance for a different country, like Spanish dance, Chinese dance, so something like that. But this one, so people come from different place, they have that different identity and different kind of song with their own. And also in this one, the evil dad also came out again with the theme song, that one. And also this theme song also used this one. Now before this, they used this theme song with his dad, but now this theme song also used with his fake the daughter, the Swan Lake, and then the fake swan, so his daughter. Now they're using the same tone, so I can hear this kind of theme song more often at the second part of the show. Coming to the last part of the show, so after the queen of the swan know that the prince, the one she loved, have to marry with the fake swan, she was really sad, and she go back to her lake and she cried really hard. The prince went to the lake and meet with the swan, so now the prince know everything, and at the end he killed the evil dad, and the prince and the swan stay together happily forever. And for that scene, the evil dad and the prince are fighting. When they're fighting and the prince trying to kill the evil dad, the music, the sound that create was really scary and alarming. The sound was hard, the instrument played a big beat and repeating motif, shot, creating the emotion of fast and excitement. Before it ending with the prince and the swan dance together with the theme song. So normally the theme song is really sad and slow, the theme one. Now they change into like the more happy version and faster version to the end of the show. So it's coming more to the end when they dance together happy and fun as a beautiful ending. So the end scene was really nice when we can see that the evil father dead on the stage, like laying down, and the swan and the prince together in the middle, surrounded by the swan. So another thing that I think I see from this show was when not only the main the use of the space of the stage, not only the main character that they moved to every single corner of the stage, but also the supporter, the others, the people, the swan, the one that is not the main. When they move, they kind of, the transformation of their, like when they move is really kind of perfect. So for example, when they're having like this kind of shape when they dance, and then they change, it's kind of little move through the music, like move into like this shape and then go into like many different kind of shape. So I really enjoy watching this kind of transformation, apart from see how they dance and something like that. So overall, I again enjoy the show, and it is very impressed my feeling, as it's combined of diverse feeling, like there's a feeling of happy, sad, romantic, and exciting. So this feeling expressed to the performance, even though in the video I cannot see the conductor and orchestra because they um stay underneath the stage, but I can tell that music is the very important factor, not less than the performer on the stage. So the ballet make this show not boring, as we get to see the story, the movement of people and music. But however, the music that the instrument play integrate the choreography to another level with more emotion and rhythm to the show. So these two things have to come together. Without one, it cannot be this perfect. Thank you for watching my video. ขอบคุณค่ะ